Um, I've decided to go live this afternoon after that result today. I know some of you will be travelling back from Harrogate. I know some of you will have watched the game at home or listened to it. I've been at home today. I've watched the game, listened to it. Um, I think when the clips started to roll in, when the full time reactions started to roll in, I think we had an idea that this was going to get ugly. Um, yeah, I thought I'd go live for half an hour or so, just get you guys' thoughts. Seeing if you're traveling on the way back from Harrogate right now, come in. I'll put the StreamYard link in the chat and I'll pin it using my other device. Hello to C. Jarmy Ollie. Hello. Welcome, welcome. What the bloody hell happened today, though, Chal? I can't explain it. I really can't. First half, we had intricate moments and little moments here and there of good football. I thought Barlow looked really good. And then second half, we lead in 90 seconds. And then I don't know what the hell the team talk was after that. Do we just sit at a 2-0 lead or what? But Harrogate, I knew what Harrogate were potentially going to do today. They were going to come back and draw 2-2 if we ever went 2-0 up. And we didn't make the right changes to then get the lead back. It's you could see the reaction at full time. You could see from every single clip at full time the reaction from the fans to the manager, etc. Schofield out, says Alf. There's all I'd say at least 90% of the fan base is Schofield out. Don't matter how far into the season we are, at least 90% of the fan base is Schofield out. I'd argue 95. I personally believe Schofield's the man, but he needs time. That's the thing where I stand, Charlie, and I do get you. I do get where you're coming from. This is sort of where my head's still at. Don't get me wrong. After today's performance, that's now what, 1 win in 12. I have serious doubt over Danny Schofield going forward. However, I'm not 100% on Schofield out yet. I'm really not. But after today, my head has turned just that little bit more. Needs time and money, yeah. He needs more time, but if he goes, it's fair. But that's fair enough. Time to go, Chal. Needs to be a statement from Monday, says Dominic. Again, I just wouldn't be. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's people that wanted Schofield still in that have turned around today and said, I think that's kind of like the sort of, I think the jury was still out until today, and then they've sort of made their minds up now. So there's a lot more people that are not wanting Schofield here. Who would your point, says Daniel? Look, like I said, I'm not 100% Schofield out yet, but and I know I'm going to get slaughtered for it. But if I need to make a new appointment, I would be looking. I mean, obviously Grant McCann's name's popped up this past sort of week or two. Carl Robinson, he produced an MK Don side a few years back with, I wouldn't say as big a budget as we have now, maybe a little bit bigger than ours now, but he built that MK Don side with the likes of Will Grigg, Carl Baker a few years back, where he got them to a point where in League One, he got them into the Championship. They got 100 goals. Yes, League One's different to League Two, but if Carl Robinson can build that kind of side and look at, you only have to look at what Carl Robinson did with Oxford. Yes, it wasn't so great this season, and that sort of led him to the sack. But look at Carl Robinson and what he did with Oxford and how he built that side. So, again, I think Carl Robinson's a good choice. I think Artelli's up there as well. Danny Cowley is an experienced man of League One and Two. Yeah, there's a few names out there. There's definitely a few names out there that you could go for. My personal pick, I don't get me wrong, I'd love to see McCann come back, but my personal choice is Carl Robinson. If Schofield was to go at the end of the season. Time to do what? Pass it around the back more. Dennis Schofield's fundamental Reds are back at it. To be fair, I saw the full-time reaction to the game, and he said we were good to go 2-0 up against a team that didn't concede many at home. And I looked at the table and I was like, Harrogate are 21st in the table for conceding home goals, I think it is. Does he? I sort of, I mean, maybe that was like a, maybe you just forgot that point, but maybe it was like a, do you not do your research before you comment on that? Shout out to Ryan Brown. Honestly, how did we manage to hold on to a draw? Absolute disgrace for second half ever since Molyneux scored. And that's where I stand on the game, to be honest with you, mate. That's exactly where I stand on the match, on this particular match. As soon as we scored the second, we were thinking we were too comfortable and didn't realize what Harrogate did for the past two games over the Easter weekend. Because what they did was they grabbed 2-2 draws, one of them against the top of the table, by the way, who are now a step closer to getting promoted and probably going to be promoted as champions with our former manager Wellens. Surprise, surprise, knowing our luck. And you know that's it. That's it. We knew what Harrogate were going to do if they had the spirit to fight back. They just couldn't kill us off in the second half. That's the only reason it stayed 2-2. Harrogate couldn't kill us off, no matter how many times they tried. Wellings. Oh, bring that comment up. Oh, Wellens fell, McSheffrey failed, Schofield failed. There's a theme here. There is definitely a theme, Alex. You are right there, mate. What have you been watching for not to be Schofield out? Interesting question there. Typhoid G McCann to come back, to be honest. I wouldn't mind him coming back, but I'd be a little bit wary. Is that a green screen or is that your bedding hanging up to dry? No, that's a green screen wall. So yeah. Nope. James Perrin is bored and Schofield in. Fair enough. Good to get some different views in today. Nope. Sol Campbell. As a player, legendary, invincible, experience with Portsmouth as well. As a manager, not proved himself yet. I'll be honest with you. Who's on your transfer shortlist? That video will hopefully come out in July, around start to mid-July, depending on my personal situation. So look out for that one. I'm going to still release some clues and little bonus updates with the little targets, etc. And then I'll reveal the full list in July. But yeah, it's coming along nicely, though. Don't forget, it's coming along nicely. Definitely better than the recruitment that we brought in January. The longer this goes on, it becomes an issue for Cops. DS has lost the fans. It's incredibly hard to get the fans back on side. If any of you have seen the reaction on social media at full time, the videos that came from the stand and how the whole stand reacted at full time, no one in that stand, from what I could see, was on his side. No one. So whether that's telling situation or not, I don't know. But yeah, the reaction just said a lot. Bramall is going to put in £1 million for next season. I don't think he'll be $1 million, but we'll see what happens with that substantial injection. I've got this football coach called Dan. He says he goes sometimes. No, I haven't, to be fair. I haven't, to be fair. Let's have a look. Let's find some more. Schofield out, says Liam. Yeah, I completely get you, mate. No, sacked a lot of them, says Harley. Who would you keep and who would you let go at the end of the season? That is interesting. Good question, Alex. I've got my list. I was meant to put the link in the chat, and I'm really sorry I didn't. I will put that in now and then go back up to your comment. Yeah, there we go. So, who would you keep and who would you let go of the season? So, I've got the players that are still out of contract and waiting for a potential new one. So I've got all that here. So Mitchell, Jones, Bottomley, Williams, Younger, Seaman, Barlow, Taylor, I think, is here for another year, so I can keep him. And Agard. Now then, we're going to start from the goalkeepers and work our way to the strikers. First of all, goalkeepers. Let's start off with the two that haven't got the most game time, Lewis Jones and Ben Bottomley. Bottomley, I would keep. Bottomley, I would keep. He'd be a good number 3. He's performed well in the academy at times throughout the last sort of year or so. He deserves a chance as a third choice if need be. So he might get a loan out next season if we keep him. So Bottomley, I think we'll keep. Jones... Jones a hard one, to be honest, because would he rather be a number 2 or a number 1? If he's happy being a number 1 elsewhere, he'll go. If he's all right being a number 2 and just playing in the Papa John's Trophy matches, either to Mitchell or a new keeper in the summer, then Jones will stay. I personally think Jones will get much more as a number 1 elsewhere, so I would let Jones go, but it's not a personal thing at all. I don't think he's a bad keeper at all. I think, you're only going to look at the Papa John's Trophy this season. He's actually not at fault for the majority of the goals that he conceded this season. So, that was more a defensive problem. So, I think Jones will be a good number 1, maybe in the National League, etc. So I think Jones will probably go down there, get some experience, build himself back up, and get to a point where he can jump back into the Football League with whoever. Mitchell, I mean, 3 months ago I would have said keep him. I think after what we saw the past few games, the mistakes he's made, the Northampton game especially, and that little flap for the first goal for Harrogate. I don't know, man. I'm seriously questioning whether we can get better than Jonathan Mitchell now. I'll be completely honest. Me and Johnny get on really well, but I've got to be brutally honest in regards to the football club and being a competitive football club. I have this gut feeling now that we can get better than Jonathan Mitchell, despite opposition. But if we haven't got the budget to do it, then they'll keep Mitchell. Me personally, anyway. Depends on the contract. I'm hearing loads of different things about the contract for Mitchell, but I don't want to say anything until we know for sure what the situation will be, whether he does move on or not. Williams and Younger I'd keep. He's had a very unlucky season with injury, never got a chance to feature, so I keep him on a 12-month deal with the option for an extra year if needs be, just to give Younger that time to come back into the squad, get back to fitness, and give himself an opportunity next season. Williams, go. Just go. All due respect, just go, Roshan Williams, because you've shown no respect by walking down the tunnel straight at full time and not coming over to the fans the past match or so. Or however many times he's done it. On the pitch, he's had moments of goodness, but not been consistent enough. It's not been as good as I think last season he was poor. This season has not been consistent enough to be as good as, if not better than last season. He needs to go. He needs to go somewhere else. Charlie Seaman, he's been involved. He's had some decent showings. If we haven't got the budget to bring a replacement, then you have to keep Seaman. Otherwise, you're going to be low on players. Depends how much budget we've got to work with in the summer. Obviously, we still don't know. I'll believe the cash injection when I see it. Seaman, for me, I think you've still got development potential in Seaman. I would actually keep Seaman, I'll be honest with you. Barlow, now then, after the last few games, I think he deserves a chance. And this isn't me trying to cost cut and cut corners and like saying don't spend on a better player, etc. But I would keep Barlow on a 12-month deal and just see how he does with more consistent amount of games next season and see how he does, personally, anyway. And then finally, Agard. I actually would still let Agard go. I don't get me wrong. I think he showed a good hold-up play in the past few games at times. I think he's had a presence up there at times. But again, in that second half, still isolated like the rest of the strikers this season. Not been able to feed off anything in the second half today. I just think it's too little too late with Agard. I think he'll get more first-team football elsewhere. So I think Agard will probably be let go. Worst manager we've ever had. How is it possible to be worse than McSheffrey? To be fair, I've got to thank Gary McSheffrey for keeping us, as high as we were. Because if it wasn't for McSheffrey and that unbeaten start at the start of the season, where we scraped results, didn't come away playing well, but we scraped results, we'd be much lower than we are now. How we've moved up a place in the table because Walsall didn't win again, I've no idea. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why we actually will finish 14th or 15th this season rather than 19th or 20th. It's because Walsall can't bag a win at the moment, and they're one of the teams below us that are looking to leapfrog us. So, but I mean, we've got them on the last day of the season, so you never know. You just never know, do you? Sol Campbell, just not proved himself yet. My friend works in the club. There's a figure of around £1 million. Interesting. I'll believe it when I see it. We've got the quality, but not the right manager. Do you agree? It's not that it's the right manager. I just think Schofield might be out of his depth. And this isn't me saying Schofield out. I just think he's been thrown to the lion's den and he's got to pick himself up physically and mentally and just go again. I don't, people wanted a statement from the club on Monday. I don't think that'll happen. Whether you Schofield in or Schofield out, I personally think the club is going to stick by him like they originally planned. So I wouldn't, you can say Schofield out if you want. That's your opinion. No one's going to deny you of that. But in my personal opinion, from which to be brutally honest to all of you, I think the club are going to keep him beyond this season, to be perfectly honest, because they've already announced that he'll be head coach for next season with this so-called cash injection. And, he's apparently the guy to take it forward. So the club won't listen to the fans. The club, if the fans are saying Schofield out, the club won't listen because they know their position next season. Schofield will be head coach next season. Don't matter what happens. Josh thinks Roshan Williams is our best defender. Politely disagree. No, not Brendan Rodgers-Lloyd. That's just yeah. Be nice to have a manager who identifies his players' strengths and plays into them instead of coming in with a system that doesn't work. Molineux at left wing back feels a little bit forced, square pegs round holes. Again, we saw the bad defensive side of Molineux today. We saw the brightness of what he can do with the movement for the goal at the start of the second half, but again, just not consistent enough. And like I said, square pegs round holes for me. Mitchell should never wear the shirt again. Chal, you saw my tweet. I did, mate. And like I said, to be honest, I think we've got to look at that and think, can we get better than Jonathan Mitchell? Would you go for no? I'd go for McCann because it's more realistic for one. What do you make a couple of just comments around the cash injection? I think Coppinger sort of revealed some of the truth there. I don't think he'll BS anybody, Coppinger. We've seen that from the past couple of statements from Coppinger. I just, until I see what happens in the summer, either manager-wise or recruitment-wise or both, and see whoever's in charge brings in, I just won't make a judgment on the summer without seeing the business done first. I'm not going to count preseason results because they don't really matter in this case. But I'm going to make a judgment when the window closes on our business as to whether we have had a cash injection or not. But we'll see. We'll see. Barlow did this last season after being used in the first 30-odd games. Kind of. Roshan Williams couldn't start in Soccer Aid. God, that's saying something. If you had to go on one last ride at Alton Towers, what would it be and why? Probably Wicker Man. I think that'd be a nice one. but yeah, probably that. Roshan Williams to Ilkeston Town to reunite with the mighty Lee Tomlin. Chal, can I speak? Yeah, of course. The StreamYard link is in the chat. I did forget to pin it. My apologies. I will do that now. I'll just put it to the top of the chat so you guys can pop in. In fact, no, it's actually not turned up on the chat now, so I'll pop the link in again. Sorry about this, guys. I'm lost completely today. I really am. My dad just won the Grand National, so my dad just won the Grand National vote. So yeah, so I'm a little bit starstruck, to be perfectly honest. Right, that's pinned at the top of the chat now. So you can hop the link in and join in. You can use your camera or use your camera and your audio at the same time. It is up to you. How do I talk? Choose the StreamYard link. I'll put it in the chat now. I wouldn't trust Schofield with a fiver. God, that is saying something. Club out says out of context, Chow. Good to see you in the stream, mate. Where do you think we'll finish next season? If our summer business is good, I think I would probably think anywhere between 5th and 8th. If we don't back the manager, I seriously think it's going to be anywhere between 15th and 22nd. It really could be on the verge of going down. It really could be if we don't back this manager, whoever the manager will be next season, whether they do decide to change it late on. Paul Cook, if Chesterfield don't go up, that would be a good manager to take if Schofield does indeed leave at the end of the season. Because I don't expect him to leave. Like, if Schofield's going to leave, by the way, just want to put this out there. If anyone thinks Schofield needs to leave or Schofield needs to go, I wouldn't expect it until either the end of the season or October, because then McSheffrey's on a 12-month rolling contract. We're still paying him till October. Schofield's on a 12-month rolling contract. We're paying him till October. So if you want a new manager, just keep in the back of your mind, I wouldn't expect one until the end of the season if the club decides to do what I think they won't do, and that's pay off the manager for the rest of his contract, or wait till October, then they can stop paying both of them and then bring in a new manager then if it goes wrong at the start of this next season. That's my thinking process anyway, just because of the whole contract situation with the manager. No idea who they are. uh, no, I don't still work there, Josh. I work somewhere else now. I would join, but I'm watching some Man City games. But I'll tell you what, this club gives me a headache. Yeah, whatever your thoughts on the board are, it does give you a headache, doesn't it? Do you trust Cops in his position? To be honest with you, I still trust Coppinger. I still trust Coppinger. Schofield's questionable now. But I still trust Coppinger no matter what. I still trust Coppinger no matter what, because I think he's coming out with better statements than the ones higher up are, to be perfectly honest with you. Coppinger is a playing legend and nothing more. He's messed up big time being involved with the appointment of Danny Schofield. If Coppinger wants to live up to his job, he's got to now be involved in sacking him. I think if they feel there's no way back from this, then they have to do what they think is the right decision. And then it's up to Coppinger then. Who does he bring in next? I would argue getting experience in a head at football position is crucial. I mean, that's fair enough. Who would your number one striker to sign for us? I do have a target, which I have already talked about on my socials as part of my bonus updates, which I will share with you guys that haven't seen it. There is a 23-year-old from St Johnstone who's on loan at Linfield in the Northern Irish Premiership right now called Etu Vatanen. He's got a nice bag full of goals. He wants to leave St Johnstone, looking to potentially come back to England this summer. Come into English football this summer, and I think League One or League Two clubs should be all over this guy. A nice mobile striker, can do sort of an all-rounder. He's got pace, he's got strength, he's got good hold-up play. Can run off the shoulder, can get involved in set pieces, etc. So I'd go for Etu Vatanen personally. If you're looking for a younger striker with a bit of pace and a bit more fluidity and sort of bit more like a winger, but as a striker with a decent goal record, then I'd go for someone like Brad Young, who's had previous experience on loan at Carlisle. He's out of contract at Villa, 20 years old. Get him for a nice long-term deal, and works with the kind of development age that Schofield's got as the majority of his squad. So I think Etu Vatanen or Brad Young are two strikers that I'd be looking at there. Fans all over the world, Erling Haaland. Yeah, I've just seen the Erling Haaland blood. Jesus Christ. Just wants to ratio Thomas Clark. No idea who that is. Lauren Wenwick, former assistant of Sol Campbell, currently managing Barnet. Okay. To be fair, Barnet's manager, I mean, I actually wouldn't be against putting in Barnet's manager because he's actually got that side playing well. You got Dean Brennan, and then you've got the assistant. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Rob Van Dam, can we sign him next season? RVD. Oh, kill me. That's my feelings about this season. Talks on us getting Adam Forshaw. Do you think that would happen? And your thoughts? Nah, I don't think there's any talks on Adam Forshaw at all. That's just BS. That was just a nice little jokey thing that someone put up. No, it won't be. It won't be. To be fair, I saw the videos, by the way, on the dugout, and I do actually feel sorry for Schofield. I do actually feel sorry for Schofield, I'll be perfectly honest with you. My only real worry is that the cash investment is squandered. In my opinion, we need an experienced guy to utilize the money wisely. My opinion is there'll be a mutual parting of the ways with Danny. I think if he's going to leave before the end of the season, that is the way they'll do it. I do agree with you there, Nicholas. Do you think Schofield has shown anything that makes you think he's capable in this club forward? Looks like a beaten man. I think today's the first day where I've really sort of wanted to think, hold on a second, I need to reaffirm my stance here on the manager. Because, people can say I'm, trying to be impartial, trying to sit on the fence, have splinters up my backside, but I was just trying to be patient. I was trying to be patient and just remember this is not overall his squad he wants to work with long term. This is a McSheffrey squad that's given up. I think the majority of McSheffrey's squad has given up on this season when he went. So, I just part of me just thinks that it's still not his squad he's working with, and he's just been hung out to dry here. I think if this was the start of the season, I think if we'd start the season with 1 win out of 12, it'd have been gone by now. I think we've got to put that in mind. He'd have been gone by now if this was the start of the season. Just it's an awful situation right now. I do feel sorry for him. I really, really do, because he's been hung out to dry. He really has been hung out to dry, and it's yet another season we have written off. On the pitch. It's just the mentality of these lads to go 1-0 up and then lose 2-1 to Grimsby late on in the second half, to go 2-0 up against Harrogate and then concede 2 and draw in the second half against a team that's already got 2 late 2-2 draws, again, including the leaders, Leyton Orient. The mentality of the lads is just in absolute pieces. And any of you that were there today, comment down below if you're watching this live right now, if you're on your way back from Harrogate. How many of the players actually came over to the fans and said thank you? Because from the clips, there didn't look like to be a lot. I'll be perfectly honest with you. But the StreamYard link is in the top of the chat. Please come in and have your say. I'd love to get more of you guys into the chat. So I am live. So for those of you who have just joined, I am live. You can tune in and have your thoughts right now. Yeah, I'm struggling to see what happens now. I'll be honest with you. I've been a Schofield dinner, but I'm struggling to see what's going to happen next. Not many Williams went straight down the tunnel, as I predicted, as I suspected. There just seems to be no care or anything from that guy. He gives the impression he doesn't give a damn. He might give a damn, but he doesn't certainly show it anyway, and he needs to go and find a new club in the summer, with all due respect. Not very many, like 5 or 6. See, that's what I mean. Like, I don't care if it's Yorkshire Derby or not. How the hell can only half of that squad go over to the fans and thank them? How can only half of that squad go over and thank the fans? How can the rest of them barely come over or walk straight down the tunnel after that? That just shows me a lack of mentality. Schofield didn't come close. That's an interesting sign. This club is struggling to get the fans on side as it is. I feel that sooner or later action will need to be taken regardless of the Ball's personal opinion on DS. All the players come over apart from Williams, who ran straight down the tunnel, but he didn't play anyway, and a lot of them apologise. That's fair enough, Bailey. Thanks for letting me know, mate. Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. Schofield didn't, though. He went and shook hands in the centre circle and clapped us from there. I think that was probably the safest thing to do, to be perfectly honest, because I think knowing our fans, he'd have got bombarded. I think he was bombarded with abuse anyway, but I think he'd have got absolutely rinsed if he came right over. So yeah. But there we go. Get Kieran O'Malley speaks the mind of the people. I have put the link in the chat, and it is pinned at the top of the chat. So if you want to come in, Kieran, and have your say, then please do. I'll just put another tweet out just to get more people in. If you got any Harrogate Town fans right now listening, pop in and give us your thoughts. Please do. But there we go. We'll just share. The Barlow goal was all right, not better than the one at Grimsby. I mean, to be fair, from the looks of it didn't look too bad, to be fair. I think it looked like a decent strike. Definitely, I'd say at least on par with Grimsby, maybe a little bit under, but still a good goal, still a great goal. I didn't go. No, I was watching from home. To be honest with you, mate. Yeah, didn't make it there today. I couldn't get a ticket in time, so I just watched it from home. But there we go. I'm just sharing this tweet out now just to get more people in. Let's tag some people in. Let's get some attention. So sorry about this, guys. Just just a late promo push on the stream. But there we go. But yeah, it's get your hand in the pocket. Bet you make a killing from your media work. Not that much, mate. Trust me. Did you go to Grimsby? I did, yeah. And it was I think I ended up booting a couple of the seats on the bottom row a couple of times when we conceded that last goal. Just wondering what your favourite. Oh god. Yeah, ignore that. To be honest with you. Right. Let's share this, shall we? Yes, I'll share that. And we will try and get some people in. So for those of you who've just joined, the StreamYard link is at the top of the chat. He had their mascot in a headlock. Tempting as it is, no, I didn't. Hooligan. Thank you. But there we go. Yeah, so just shared the link now. And yeah, so we'll get some more people in here, fingers crossed. For those of you who just joined, the StreamYard link is at the top of the chat. Time for you to get your thoughts in on the match, your thoughts on the situation, Schofield in, Schofield out, board in, board out. I thought now's the right time to have the chat, to have the stream. I will probably go on a Twitter space tonight as well. I'll probably do a Twitter space tonight as well. In fact, I'll probably end this in 5 minutes and head on to Twitter and get that space started. So there we go. So get your last minute questions in, guys, and then I'll head over. Hello, how are you? No idea. So there we go. So yeah, so probably what I'll do is I'll set it up now. Actually, I'll try and set up the Twitter space now, and I'll just go on to. I'll probably just do a Twitter space. If you was on Oblivion with Danny Schofield and David Blunt, which one would you tell first? This rider's like what they're doing to our club. If you was on Oblivion with Danny and David, which one would you tell first? This rider's like what they're doing to our club. Probably David, because at the end of the day, he's the one steering the ship. He's the one who's not put any money in. He's the one that's reluctant to the decision making. I've got to be honest with you. He's been the one reluctant to some of the decisions in the past, and decisions that have ended up happening which should have come a lot sooner. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So I'm just setting my Twitter space up. So whoever wants to head in can get ready to head in. And there we go. So yeah, so that's where I would stand on that. I'd probably say David, to be perfectly honest. Okie dokie. So I'm going to head on to Twitter now and try and get the space thing over and done with and get people's thoughts. But for now, guys, I will see you later. See you later.